Elmo's happy or scared. I'll take care of Elmo's happy or scared. I'll take care of
information, visit ktsm.com/cleartheshelter.
Coming up, Senate Bill 6, which aims to protect unborn children, passed the Texas Senate on Tuesday. SB 6 would prohibit the manufacturing of abortion-inducing pills. How it would all work in a state where abortion is already almost totally banned. Then the U.S. government gross national debt has surpassed $37 trillion. That's a record number that highlights the accelerating debt on Americans' balance sheet and increased cost pressures on taxpayers. We have the latest figures. And I know we got to see some flooding yesterday, but what about today, Robert? Are we in for another round?
Monica, very different night tonight. We could see some little isolated storms in the area, but the threat of very heavy rainfall has subsided. That changes this weekend. I'm going to have your detailed forecast. We're live on KTSM Plus, and your news starts right now.
You're watching KTSM 9 News First at 4. Starts right now.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to KTSM Plus, our digital newscast. I'm Monica Cortez. We begin with a 39-year-old man who admitted to manufacturing and selling drugs and repeatedly stealing from neighbors during multiple crime sprees between 2019 and 2024. He was sentenced to state prison last week. Armando Bejarano pleaded guilty to 24 felony offenses in the 168th District Court. He pleaded guilty to multiple first-degree, second-degree, third-degree, and state jail felonies. According to the DA's office, he was sentenced to 15 years in state prison on each of the first and second-degree counts. He also received the maximum 10 years on each third-degree felony charge and the maximum of 2 years on each of the state jail felonies. Well, we are now learning new details on the 33-year-old woman accused of drunk driving and causing a crash that left 2 children dead. New Mexico State Police now confirmed to us that the 12-year-old was the driver's daughter. According to the records, Cristina Escobedo Arriaga is facing multiple charges, including 2 counts of homicide and drunk driving. She was released on her own recognizance on Tuesday, basically meaning instead of paying for her release, she's agreed to appear in court when required. Now, this video that you're about to see here is of loved ones gathering to remember the 15-year-old Gadsden ISD student and Escobedo Arriaga's daughter at a vigil Monday night. As KTSM reported, the crash in Vado happened on Sunday, and documents say Escobedo Arriaga hit a light pole, a chain link fence, and a tree before ending up in front of a home. The 2 teens reportedly were not wearing their seatbelts. A third 15-year-old was also hurt in the crash, and according to investigators, Escobedo Arriaga allegedly admitted to police that she had been drinking earlier in the day. She is now expected back in court in September. Well, in news across Texas, Senate Bill 6, which aims to protect unborn children, passed the Texas Senate on Tuesday. Now, as we first told you on KTSM.com, SB 6 would prohibit the manufacture, distribution, mailing, transportation, delivery, and prescription of abortion-induced pills, as well as allows private citizens in Texas to file suits against people or companies that manufacture or distribute abortion-inducing pills in the state. Abortion is already almost totally banned in Texas, and the bill was filed by Senator Brian Hughes of Tyler, Texas. A similar bill passed the Senate during the regular session. However, it died in the House. The fate of this new bill is now in the hands of the House. To read more on today's top stories, just visit KTSM.com. All right, so let's take a pause here from today's headlines and talk about the other thing that's been making headlines as well. I don't know about you guys, but yesterday we got a lot of rain, especially in West El Paso. And as you can see through our tower camera, we can see those clouds in the sky. The biggest question now is, will we get another round of rain? Let's go ahead and send things over to our chief meteorologist, Robert Bettis. Robert, what can we expect this afternoon?
Nothing, Monica, like yesterday.
Okay.
Thank goodness. Of course, KTSM issued that weather authority alert because of the combination of forces. Those forces are not in play today, nor will they be tomorrow.
Okay.
But I'm watching Friday and the weekend. We could see some more heavy rain by then. All right, let's take a look at this snapshot from last night. This was at about 8:35. Look at this on the west side. Kern Place, UTEP, all the way up Mesa Street. I don't think I've ever seen Mesa Street flood quite as quickly as it did last night, and of course that extended right over into parts of Juarez as well. Right now it's 92 degrees in Las Cruces, dew point 43, 18% relative humidity. Satellite radar composite. Now yesterday I called for very slight chance of a couple of little pinpoint storms. That's about all we have tonight. Nothing significant or major this evening. Now tomorrow will be looking good. Another day much like today. What changes tomorrow? The temperature goes up to about 99 degrees. I'm going to have your detailed forecast. We'll talk about those storms returning in strength by Friday. All coming up in just a little bit. Monica.
Robert, thank you so much. All right, so right now we want to take you outside using our text-off cameras. Loop 375 in Socorro. Well, things are looking quite nice. Not a lot of traffic at the Sour. Loop 375 Joe Rodriguez. That's a new one. I haven't seen that one. Looking really smooth as well. You can see some ponding on the side of the road, but other than that, a big 2 thumbs up. And sticking with the roads, there are some closures taking place this week that may disrupt your daily commute. According to TxDOT, as part of the I-10 Widening West 2 project, I-10 East and westbound between Anthony and Nashua will have alternate lane closures Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. North and South Desert Boulevard between Anthony and Nashua will also have alternate lane closures. TxDOT tells us crews will be performing dirt work and removing miscellaneous materials. Meanwhile, as part of the Trans Mountain Rehab Project, Trans Mountain East and westbound between Tom Mays and the Main Gap will have left lane closures Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. TxDOT says crews will be working on punch list items. For a complete list of road closures, just simply visit our website, that's ktsm.com, and click on the traffic tab. Well, in case you missed it, the town of Anthony, along with Congresswoman Veronica Escobar, showcased its latest law enforcement technology, the Flock Safety System. Now, the system provides real-time license plate recognition, which can help law enforcement track down stolen vehicles or vehicles reported through Amber Alerts. The technology was funded through the 2023 Appropriations Act. In addition to the license plate readers, the technology has gunshot detectors, which can distinguish between real gunfire and fireworks, and it can provide live footage. Anthony Chief of Police says that in its first week, the system was able to locate a stolen vehicle, which also turned up wanted individuals and took 130 fentanyl pills off the streets, all in one stop.
This technology has made a huge impact in the city because it has allowed us to be able to deploy officers without actually deploying them, which means has been more cost saver for the city of Anthony and make the community a lot safer place.
Now, Enrique says the system provides real-time alerts that give law enforcement better information as they respond to calls. He says the system is now working at 60%. Well, in national news, the U.S. national debt hits new heights. And according to the U.S. Treasury Department, this as deficits creep higher this year and tariff revenues jumps. In today's Political Minute, News Nation's Blake Berman breaks down the latest numbers.
A new high for the national debt. I'm Blake Berman, host of The Hill on News Nation. $37 trillion. That is now the size of the U.S. government's gross national debt, according to a release from the U.S. Treasury Department. It's up from $36 trillion last November, $35 trillion last July, about a year ago. It's the latest milestone in a decades-long climb for the national debt. It's piled up, as you see here, under both Democratic and Republican administrations. And the trend continues this year as well, as the U.S. pays out more than it takes in. The deficit for this fiscal year so far, $1.6 trillion, a slight increase from the same time frame last year, when the deficit was at $1.5 trillion. But the government is taking in more money this year on tariffs. Since February, the country has brought in close to $120 billion in tariff revenue. Receipts jumping in April when the president's tariffs first took effect and steadily climbing each month since. I'm Blake Berman, and this is the News Nation Political Minute.
Well, parts of El Paso got a lot of rain last night, so much that El Paso Fire had to assist people after a major West El Paso street got flooded. Coming up, we go over your thoughts in today's In the Comments segment. Then, First Light Federal Credit Union is kicking off the construction for their new headquarters. We're going to tell you where it will be located. Thank you so much for tuning in to KTSM Plus, putting local first. Welcome back, everyone. Well, as you probably have already seen, the El Paso area got slammed by flash flooding late last night. This is video sent in by one of our viewers showing submerged cars on Mesa Street due to the weather. Luckily, no injuries were reported. The fire department says that people had to get themselves out of their vehicle and do a self-rescue. KTSM 9 News reporter Tirza Ortiz, she is looking into the flooding in this area. She will have more on this story coming up at 5, but we did share this video onto our social media pages, Robert. We got a lot of reaction from all of our viewers. I want to poke your brain in just a second, but first, check this out. Terrence Jeffrey says, that's crazy. I had no idea it even rained yesterday. Jojo Little wrote, I've never seen temperatures so low and so much rain in the summertime ever in my life. And Marta Sanchez writes, it came down hard last night as I was leaving work. Hope everyone is okay. And Frank Hernandez said, saddening. Prayers for all those involved and to all first responders. And you know what? I love the first comment because it's one of those things where if it doesn't rain on your house, it didn't rain at all, right?
That was one of those nights, and it was difficult at 4:15 to look at clear blue skies and issue a weather authority alert
that it's not going to rain
for the threat of heavy rainfall. But it was supercharged, and that is exactly what makes me nervous. When I'm nervous about the atmosphere, you'll be the first to know because I'll let you know. I'm getting a little bit nervous about Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of this week. Another comment that I really liked was, I wouldn't have even known it rained, nor did the rain gauge at the airport. We're still at a deficit for rain officially this year.
You know, and it's one of those things where all it takes is just one rain cell to start pouring down rain in one location to cause what we saw in West El Paso, the flooding that came down and really took those drivers out of surprise.
I know, I've been caught myself where we always say don't drive into flooded roadways, and then if it hits too fast, boom, there you are. You have no time to decide.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Robert. And as a matter of fact, we're going to be checking in with him right after this break for your full forecast. We'll be right back.
Use it to get this low mileage lease on the Sierra EV Elevation for around $5.99 per month.
Your local weather authority, Robert Bettis, the Borderland's only certified broadcast meteorologist.
A day off from thunderstorms, so we have the slightest chance of a little isolated area storm, but nothing like the threat of heavy rain that we saw yesterday, thank goodness. So the blue skies we're looking at, and yesterday we were looking at even clearer skies this time. But that all changed with the storms. We're not going to face those type of storms tonight, nor really tomorrow. Friday, however, could be a different situation. We'll talk about that. This is a 24-hour sweep of the radar, estimating the amount of rainfall that we got from the thunder showers last night at about 8:30. And when you see the forest green here, and actually the heavier rainfall fell over the border into Juarez. That's about 1.5 inches of rain, but definitely we received 1 inch to, in some places, 3/4 of an inch there. That's all it takes. If it comes down fast enough, it hits the arroyos. Of course, right in the Kern area toward Mesa Street, it's sloped, so the water just flows right on down to the lowest place. We also saw some moderately heavy rainfall on the east side down in the lower valley yesterday, up around 54 little nodes out here far east county in the northern part of the county. But tonight we should be pretty quiet this evening. Here are the high temperatures so far today. These are not official yet. 95 El Paso, 96 Juarez, 94 for Las Cruces, and 93 for Alamogordo. Satellite radar composite. Now on the radar composite, you can see we still have some pinpoint showers and isolated storms out there when we zoom in on the radar composite. One thing that's definitely changed, the atmosphere is way more stable today. So this isn't going to be a domino effect the way we saw last night, where a cluster of storms gets going and it just takes off from there. As you can see in far east Montana, and I do believe this quadrant of the county out here near Waco Tanks, this definitely has received the most storm action so far this year. It seems to storm there almost every day. Up in the mountains, not even a flood watch for Ruidoso as the whole Sacramento Mountains kind of dry out a little bit. Little pinpoint showers there, but again, nothing major. 95 degrees at the airport right now. The dew point 47. Lower level, the humidity is about the same today, so kind of a muggy feel. Upper level, well, it's dried out substantially. And it's going to be on the dry side again tomorrow. So what changes tomorrow? Well, the temperature goes up. So here comes your exclusive 9-hour forecast for your Thursday. I'm putting in only the slightest chance of an isolated area storm for Thursday and raising the high temperature up to 96 degrees. So a lot of sunshine, couple of clouds, 99 our high for tomorrow. Now coming up, I'll have your exclusive 9-day forecast. We'll talk about strong storms returning at the week's end. You stay with KTSM 9 News.
together.
Welcome back. Well, we have more local stories for you. Today, First Light Federal Credit Union hosted their Steel Beam signing event to kick off the construction of their brand new headquarters located in Northeast El Paso. First Light says the symbolic ceremony offers an opportunity for attendees to leave their mark on the future of their organization by signing the final steel beam before it is set in place at the new location. The CEO says this event is an exciting milestone for First Light.
We're expanding here our headquarters to allow room for growth in the future. It's also going to allow us to relocate our business and mortgage center and have a much nicer area to serve members in our community.
Now the new building will be located on Kenworthy Street. And if you're looking for a free, fun, educational activity for your child this weekend, well, El Paso Animal Services is kicking off their Kids and Canines workshop this week. Through games and hands-on learning covering pet safety, signs of animal stress, and more, kids will be able to explore kindness to animals and people. And the workshop is happening this Saturday, August 16th from 2 to 4 p.m. You can sign up now over at elpasoanimalservices.org. All right, guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Beauty Rest in Purple. Get free delivery and 0% interest financing for 60 months. Mattress Firm. We make
Welcome back to KTSM 9 News First at 4. Well, we're learning new details on the 33-year-old woman accused of drunk driving and causing a crash that left 2 children dead. New Mexico State Police confirmed today that one of the children was her daughter. According to records, Cristina Escobedo Arriaga is now facing multiple charges, including 2 counts of vehicular homicide and drunk driving. Now, this video that you're about to see is of loved ones gathering to remember the 15-year-old Gadsden ISD student and Escobedo Arriaga's 12-year-old daughter at a vigil Monday night. Now, as we told you, the crash in Vado happened on Sunday, and documents say Escobedo Arriaga hit a light pole, a chain link fence, and a tree before ending up in front of a home. The 2 teens were reportedly not wearing their seatbelts, and a third 15-year-old was also hurt in the crash. Now, according to investigators, Escobedo Arriaga allegedly admitted to police that she had been drinking earlier in the day. She is now expected back in court in September. And over to our border report. An El Paso woman is now facing federal charges in New Mexico for allegedly working as a scout for a migrant smuggling organization. Federal agents arrested Veronica Avalos last week at a gas station in Alamogordo, New Mexico. The woman drove through a U.S. Border Patrol checkpoint on U.S. Highway 70 and allegedly used her cell phone to direct the driver of a vehicle carrying 6 migrants that it was safe to come through. According to court records, when the second vehicle arrived at the checkpoint, border agents noticed several passengers trying to hide. Investigators interviewed an undocumented migrant driving the vehicle, and that led them to the gas station where Avalos allegedly was waiting for the group, where they were to be smuggled to Albuquerque and Atlanta. Meanwhile, Texas Democrats have promised to kill the first special session, which is likely to end on Friday. Now, the departure has killed any attempt by Republicans to redraw congressional maps. But in doing so, it has also stopped work on flood recovery efforts at the Capitol. Both Republicans and Democrats are now pointing fingers at each other, saying they're to blame for the delay in the flood relief. Meanwhile, residents in Kerr County are still trying to rebuild. Capitol correspondent Dylan McKim shares the story of one couple trying to stay afloat.
3 inches of mud and everything.
Nathan Rich rents this shop for his diesel repair business. On July 4th, the Guadalupe River came pouring in, damaging electrical equipment and rusting his tools. A month later, his business is somewhat back to normal, but the house he rents next door is completely gutted.
It's hard to shell out $100,000 to rebuild a house.
Rich received $30,000 in grants for his business, but grants for his home and personal belongings are limited.
All the stuff that we've built together just gone.
This is his wife, Audrey. She works across the street at the local bank. It happens to be the location where residents in Center Point, Texas can pick up applications for financial relief. That money is being distributed by the Center Point Alliance for Progress, which has about $270,000 to hand out.
We have a committee that actually went to their houses to verify that they did have damage.
So far, it's helped 58 families with $2,500 checks.
Paid rent.
That's it.
Yeah, we paid our shop rent.
But that money doesn't go far.
We don't have the money to just rebuild, go buy a house, go rent somewhere.
Local groups like the Alliance are having to step up because relief efforts at the state capitol are stalled as politicians duel over redistricting.
It would be nice for our government to want to help, but we're going to try to make sure they're taken care of regardless.
Both political parties are pointing fingers over who to blame in the delay in funding. But people like Rich are choosing not to wait around for Austin politicians.
I got way more going on than to sit and watch the news and be mad at Democrats or be mad at Republicans or whatever.
They continue rebuilding little by little with a simple motto.
One day at a time.
In Kerr County, I'm Dylan McKim.
And the Community Foundation of the Hill Country said that it has raised $100 million since July 4th. Now that money is being distributed to first responders, businesses, and to groups that are helping people like the Rich family. Well, in other news happening across the state, the Vado School District released hours of new body camera footage and thousands of documents following a lawsuit by NBC News and other organizations. 19 children and 2 teachers were killed in the 2022 mass shooting at Robb Elementary. Now, the documents, which Uvalde authorities spent years fighting to withhold, offer a deeper portrait of the teenage gunman and on-scene communications among hundreds of law enforcement officers who rushed to the South Texas campus. Now, 2 responding officers are facing criminal charges for their actions that day. Both have pleaded not guilty. All right, let's talk a little bit about weather because that's our other top headline of the day here. And as you can see, there are some cumulus clouds back out in the distance here in our sky. But you know, yesterday we had a little cloud that we saw in our tower camera, but that was enough to ignite what was flooding in West El Paso. So Robert, my question is, are we in for another round?
No.
Oh, good.
Thank goodness,
Good.
not tonight,
Okay.
not tonight, not tomorrow night either. So we get a
Okay.
couple of days where
Of
I'm
relief.
not nervous, but I get nervous again on Friday, on
Yikes.
Saturday, on
Okay.
Sunday as well. All right, here are the high temperatures so far today. 95 at the airport, 96 Juarez, 94 Las Cruces and Deming, 92 Truth or Consequences. So what changed yesterday until late in the evening? It was fairly nice. It was blue skies, couple of clouds on the radar composite right now. We still have some isolated storms in the area this evening, but nothing major, and nothing is likely to develop significantly. Why? We're too stable, and the mid-level moisture has really thinned. It stays thin tomorrow as well, so only the slightest chance, like today, of a little isolated storm in the area without the threat of heavy rainfall. So here's a quick look. Tomorrow, 99 degrees. We are going to get hotter again. 95 on Friday. That moisture surges back, and we could see quite a few thunder showers that present the threat of heavy rainfall. That threat of heavy rain lasts through the weekend. I'm going to have your detailed forecast coming up in just a little bit. Monica.
Robert, thank you so much for that. Well, the White House says it is reviewing the Smithsonian Museum exhibits to make sure that they align with President Donald Trump's vision. Now, according to a letter sent by White House officials to museum leadership, the review will assess things like online content, exhibition planning, the use of certain grants, and exhibit messaging. The letter directs officials at 8 museums, including the National Museum of American History and the National Museum of African American History and Culture, to turn over information about their current exhibits and plan to commemorate the country's 250th anniversary in the next 30 days. The letter also tells those museums to begin implementing necessary corrections with 120 days and adds that more museums will be reviewed later. Well, to our D.C. newsroom, President Trump is preparing to welcome Russian President Vladimir Putin to the United States as European leaders and Ukraine's president discuss the high-stakes meeting. Washington correspondent Rashad Hudson has more on what President Trump had to say during today's discussions.
President Donald Trump says peace must be the focus of his meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin, or else
there will be very severe consequences.
Earlier today, President Trump joined a call by European leaders and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to discuss his upcoming meeting with Putin.
We had a very good call.
President Zelensky says he supports the U.S.-Russia talks.
Є принципова позиція європейських лідерів.
But Zelensky says there is no sign Russia is preparing to end the war. Zelensky told the group Putin is bluffing, using heavy tactics along multiple fronts to create the illusion that Russia could seize all of Ukraine. As of now, the White House says Zelensky will not be at the meeting about the fate of his country.
He hopes in the future there can be a trilateral meeting with these 3 leaders to finally bring this conflict to an end.
And President Trump says if Friday's meeting goes well, a meeting with all 3 leaders is on the table.
We'll have a quick second meeting between President Putin and President Zelensky and myself if they'd like to have me there.
Well, in consumer news, GE Appliances announced today that it plans to invest $3 billion in its manufacturing facilities over the next 5 years. Now, the funds will be used to update and modernize 11 of its U.S. manufacturing plants. The first phase will begin at the GE Appliances plants in Kentucky, Alabama, Georgia, Tennessee, and South Carolina. This $3 billion announcement marks the second largest investment in GE Appliances history, surpassing only by the creation of Appliance Park in the 1950s, the company's global headquarters in Louisville, Kentucky.
What we've done, what we're doing next, isn't just good business, it's essential. It's essential for our company, it's essential for our economy, and it's essential for American manufacturing, providing the goods that people need and the livelihood that they deserve. This investment creates more American jobs, and it starts right here in Kentucky.
Now, this will bring the total investment in production advancements by GE Appliances since 2016 to a whopping $6.5 billion across its U.S. manufacturing plants and nationwide distribution network. Well, to some trending news now. Police recovered $30,000 worth of Labubus from a California heist. Can you believe that? The highly collectible Labubu figurines were recovered during a burglary investigation in San Bernardino County. The Labubus were stolen in a series of thefts that spanned multiple days. Two suspects, both minors, were later identified as workers at the warehouse, and in a news release, officials said that the discovery was made while searching an upland residence of an unknown number of suspects believed to be involved in several burglaries at a location warehouse. In all, 14 boxes of the furry little monsters worth an estimated, get this, I can't believe it, $30,000 were recovered. I know, it's all the craze right now. All right, well, coming up, Senator John Cornyn is asking the Justice Department to investigate groups tied to former Representative Beto O'Rourke. We caught up with what you thought, and you have to say in the comments segment. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to KTSM 9 News First at 4, putting local first.
more details.
I'm Monica Cortez, and you're watching KTSM 9 News.
Your local weather authority, Robert Bettis, the Borderland's only certified broadcast meteorologist.
Welcome back, everyone. If you're like Robert and myself, well, check this out. We love chocolate, and Hershey's is unveiling 7 new twists on classic Halloween treats. They include Harry Potter Hershey's Cookies and Cream, Reese's Peanut Butter Pumpkins, Charlie Brown Reese's Pumpkins Miniatures, and so much more. The treats should be hitting store shelves now, just in time for Halloween stocking up. Prices are determined by the stores they're sold in. Okay, what is it? August? What? August 12th or something?
Now, is the Shack gummies? That's not chocolate, is it?
I don't know. I don't think that's chocolate.
Okay,
I've tried the Shack gummies, and
yeah, no,
they're okay.
Doesn't look like Shack. I wonder if they're.
What is it?
I wonder if the lawyers called them.
Oh my
No,
God.
I'm just kidding. Dark or sweet milk chocolate?
I would say sweet milk chocolate. What do you like?
The bitter. That Hershey's special with the dark label, you know, the burgundy looking label.
Yes. Now I know what to get you for Halloween.
And I have a big old bag of Sam's chocolate chips. That's my dessert.
Really?
Yeah.
I
Okay,
like that.
so, boy, some truth came out there, huh?
Right?
All right, let's talk weather and how we don't have the threat of any kind of thunderstorms tonight.
so happy.
Yeah, we're done with that. Here's a look at the tower cam. Nope, it's 95 degrees at the airport right now. We've got a dew point of 47, 19% relative humidity. Winds very light at this point. We see some storms in the distance. That's about all we're probably going to see tonight. The atmosphere is in totally different shape. Here are the highs: 94 Las Cruces, 96 Juarez, 95 Alamogordo, and 82 in Ruidoso today. Now, all we're down to at this point, partly cloudy skies with a couple of little isolated hit or miss thunderstorms. Nothing major. Threat of heavy rainfall tonight cropping up out of the blue? No, this was not like last night's atmosphere. But we do still have a couple of little isolated showers, especially out in the far northeast side of the county. East Montana, where you can see a few drops coming down right there. Nothing major. Very quiet, very different day today. Of course, the Sacramento Mountains produce their usual little thunder showers. Those have pretty much tapered off at this point. Here are the temperatures in your area. No triple-digit heat today. Will climb to about 96, 97 degrees this afternoon. Nothing major, but more triple digits are on the way, especially by the middle of next week. Now tomorrow, another dry day, and if we touch 100 tomorrow, it will not surprise me. Here comes your exclusive 9-hour forecast. 99 the high temperature. Once again, very slight chance of an isolated area storm. Otherwise, much like today, a very stable, quiet atmosphere as we continue to heat up. Allergy-wise, 9s, high range next 3 days. Here's your forecast for Las Cruces tonight. 66 degrees, partly cloudy skies. We'll keep that very slight chance of an isolated area storm in the mix until later this evening, and then tomorrow we'll wake up to clear skies, partly cloudy in the afternoon. Similar chance of that isolated area storm. 74 low temperature tonight at the International Airport. Nothing major going on tonight. Not nervous about the threat of heavy rain. 99 high temperature tomorrow. Another very quiet day. Now, only KTSM gives you 9 full days of weather. On Friday, that is a very different story. The moisture begins to charge back up. And with the hot afternoon of 95 degrees, here come those thunder showers. We also have a series of wave disturbances that come through on a parade through the weekend. So the potential for heavy rain out of some storms will be with us Friday, Saturday, and Sunday as well. All 3 days present the threat or the potential for localized flooding out of some thunder showers. Then we downgrade to isolated evening storms Monday, hot and dry. Tuesday and Wednesday, look at Wednesday, 101 potentially. That bubble of high pressure does not last long. Slight chance of storms Thursday. Monica.
Robert, thank you so much. I want to take you guys outside right now using our TechStop cameras. This is what it looks like. I-10 Loop 375. Guys, we really haven't been seeing a lot of traffic this afternoon. Things are moving quite smoothly in all directions. Well, sticking with the roads, there are some road closures that are taking place this week that may disrupt your daily commute. So, according to TxDOT, as part of the I-10 Widening West 2 project, I-10 East and westbound between Anthony and Nashua will have alternate lane closures Monday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. North and South Desert Boulevard between Anthony and Nashua will also have alternate lane closures. TxDOT tells us crews will be performing dirt work and removing other kind of materials on the roads. Meanwhile, as part of the Trans Mountain Rehab Project, Trans Mountain East and westbound between the Maze and the Main Gap will have left lane closures Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. TxDOT says crews will be working on a punch list item. And for a complete list of road closures, just simply visit KTSM.com and click on that traffic tab. Well, Senator John Cornyn is asking the Department of Justice to investigate groups that have allegedly helped fund Texas Democrats who fled the state to stall a GOP mid-decade redistricting plan. Now, this includes former Rep. Beto O'Rourke. In a letter, Cornyn calls out O'Rourke allegedly that his political group funding luxurious private jets for the quorum-breaking lawmakers, along with food, lodging, and logistical support from other groups. Paxton has also swung at O'Rourke and his group, which he's claimed engaged in unlawful fundraising activity. Of course, we shared the story all over our social media accounts, and many of you guys had thoughts you wanted to share with us. Curtis Suzuki says Big John can't stop American democracy from overcoming racially motivated redistricting. Bruce Lorak writes, Beto is getting what he asked for. He better move to a state closer to his values. And Frank Hughes says attacking political rivals is straight out of the fascist playbook. Well, the venture comes with hefty expenses in addition to costs of living away from their homes in Texas. The participating Democrats each now face $500 per day fines, along with the threat of arrest and removal from their seats. Well, here at KTSM, we of course value your opinion and we want to hear more from you. So make sure you are following us on all of our social media platforms to keep in touch with us through the comments. All right, guys, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this quick break.
Well, we're back now with Dr. Jesus Herrera, a urologist over at Las Palmas Medical Center. Dr. Herrera, we're talking about the bladder and why it is such a crucial component to everyday health.
So bladder affects both females and males. It is a crucial organ that allows us to void. Without voiding, we'll have kidney issues. We can have chronic bladder problems, recurrent UTIs, stones. So everything, the bladder needs to be healthy in order to void correctly.
Let's talk about some ways to keep the bladder healthy, and then when it's not, when you should go see somebody.
So, stay away from trying to get diabetes, control your sugars, eat healthy, exercise, avoid salty foods. All these things are for bladder health. And if you have any of these issues, you should definitely go see a provider.
That's good advice right there. Dr. Herrera, thank you so much. And of course, for more, you can always visit LasPalmasDelSolHealthcare.com to find a provider near you.
Wellness Wednesday, sponsored by Las Palmas del Sol Healthcare.
for next Wednesday as we congratulate a weekly winner. It could be you.
Here's a last look at the forecast. Now tonight, no threat of heavy rain, just a few area storms, and they'll fade quickly this evening. Tomorrow, same story, just a very, very slight chance of an isolated area storm as we heat up to 99. Then those thunder showers return with the potential vengeance on Friday afternoon and evening. We're going to have the threat of heavy rain out of some storms all the way through the weekend ahead. A moisture thinning out on Monday, and then a little heat bubble takes us to 101 by next Wednesday. Monica.
Robert, thank you so much. Well, that does it for me here on KTSM Plus. In just a few minutes, you're going to be getting all your weather and headlines from KTSM 9 News Now. Don't go anywhere.
Hair and wardrobe provided by